our pal Chris.
Sure.
So it was announced last night during AEW Dynamite that if Chris Jericho had defeated Wardlow last night, that the fifth labor of Jericho was indeed he faces MJF next week. Which obviously he defeated Wardlow. And apparently I wasn't the only one, thought that he had to complete 5 labors and then got a match with MJF. Like, I didn't think that MJF was the 5th labor. Was I like, I know Ryan, you were with me on that. Tim, Mark.
Yeah, but I don't pay much attention, Jim. So that doesn't give you a lot of cred.
No, that's why I'm asking the rest of the group here. Was I alone in thinking this?
To me, MJF set up the 5 labors of Jericho for Jericho to go through 5 labors to get what he wanted at the end, which was a one-on-one opportunity with Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Presumably at All Out, which it's not. It's next week on Dynamite.
Which makes me think that it's not going to happen. I think it's going to be a bait and switch. Because
MJF is a master.
Yeah, he's a master of that.
Oh my.
It's neat. Like, I like the labors of Jericho. I like this whole idea. Mm-hmm. We get a little bit of old, you get a little bit of new, get a bit of current. A little
bit of the bubbly.
Depending on who you believe, Jericho was on a little bit of the bubbly with how rough he was looking in the ring last night.
Oh boy!
Because Jim Ross was like, he's not the same. He's been, he's had to wrestle once a week for a month at 50.
Well, I mean,
I thought he looked better last night than he did against Hoovy.
Well, that was Hoovy. That was partially.
No. I'm talking specifically Jericho's bloodshot eyes against Juventud.
Well,
we didn't talk about that last. How like
I didn't even watch it.
I get nostalgia is cool, but like I feel like Jericho versus Hoovy in 2021 is all about coulda and it shouldn't have been about shoulda, because that match was rough.
And the stipulation of the match was, in order to win, you have to do a move off the top rope. But even then, when Jericho finally hits the most devastating finisher in the history of the world off the top rope, a spinning back elbow,
a spinning back arm flab. Yeah, go ahead.
And that move alone should have ended the match, right? It's like a finisher's match. Or where if you hit the move off the top rope, ding, ding, ding. Instead, Jericho hits super flappy, and then he has to pin Hoovy.
Right? Like,
and then now we've got this. Now MJF's stipulation is Jericho can't use anything named Judas.
Right, so he can't use
the theme. He can't.
One of the worst maneuvers in wrestling today. He can't use the music, so the crowd's going to sing him out. Or I actually saw this today. There's reports that AEW contacted the WWE to try to get the Break the Walls Down music. I don't know if there's truth to that or not.
Huh?
There is. You have a sound. You have a sound on that soundboard of the percentage that WWE is going to let that shit hit the air.
0.0.
Yeah, no fucking way.
I will castrate myself on Facebook if that music hits.
Oh my.
0 point. I will bet my nuts on it.
Wow,
Ryan is in shock.
that is quite.
I have already
Weird
fought
movie.
the internet on plain s'more. I
That
have
is-
nothing to live about. Someone said that I was eating poverty s'mores on social media. I have nothing to live for anymore.
That is.
Take my
Poverty
nuts.
S'mores.
Take my nuts, please.
Take my nut. Like that's all I got left. They've already hung me out in the streets.
Like, we play around with that 0.0.
This is 0.0.
I get it.
Put my nuts on it.
Man.
Timestamp.
Jim's going all out.
Now,
Oh my God. I
If-
mean,
now here's the thing. This is a WWE version of Break the Walls Down. If Fozzy did a cover of this
Oh
song
shit!
and they play it, my nuts are safe.
Right, this has to be.
It has to be the Jim
WWE
Johnston.
official.
You know I got you, bitch.
That I mean,
That's what the one. Yeah.
like if you really want to find out if WWE really thinks AEW is competition or not, we'll see if that music hits. Let's see. Lou here says the fake Booker in me, Wardlow says Jericho then challenges MJF making a new face.
that must be the fake Booker T in you.
my man Wardlow.
But
See, to me, Wardlow should have won, stopping the labors of Jericho.
right,
To me, Wardlow should have been the fifth and final labor. And
It's
then,
kind of a letdown of a labor, though, isn't it?
hasn't everything
Wardlow
post Nick
labor.
Gage been a letdown? Let's be honest.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like this whole thing peaked at Nick Gage, right?
And if you were MJF, why wouldn't you
Yes.
make Nick Gage the
Absolutely.
fifth one?
Right.
Like, you want him as beat up as
Maybe
possible.
Nick's not available.
well, I mean, who's more intimidating? The leader of a fake internet wrestling gang or Mr. Mayhem himself, Big Thick Wardlow?
Yeah, but I just see like discount.
I know the answer is actually Nick Gage, but
Yeah.
I'm going
Harder
AEW
to
logic
get
here.
I get that, but like, isn't Wardlow? And I'm gonna probably catch hell for this. Just like other Rhino. Like,
He's
what is
like-
to Wardlow that I'm not seeing?
He's like baby Sid. They're booking him like he's Sid Vicious.
Is that
yeah.
where you really want your guy to be, though?
I mean, if I'm playing softball, I'm down.
I mean, we're live, right?
We are live.
I don't care. I don't so much care for Wardlow. Like
I'm
me
not a-
personally.
I just don't see it yet.
I don't like that they're making him a big man and he's not a big man.
That's probably part of it.
But it's also, if everyone in AEW is small man, then like your big man is 6'4".
But you keep grabbing up ex-WWE guys. Your Christians are pretty tall too, and he's never been a big man. So when your big man is as tall as Christian Cage, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yep.
Like, Chris
Uh-huh.
never been a big guy. I would never even think of putting Christian in a big guy category.
Christian's tall man right now. He's
But
not
he
big
is
man,
tall
he's
man.
Tall man. He's tall man. And then Big Show coming out, or excuse me, No BS Paul White coming out
Shoot. Okay.
and making everybody look real small.
Let's talk about this segment for a second.
Besides, we'll get back to Jericho.
Let's talk about Jericho.
The last half hour of Dynamite last night felt like it fell off a cliff.
They
'Cause it
were
was-
under 1 million in the ratings. It
They
was
were.
989, I think, right? 989,000.
The challenge is back now, which does draw similar demo
The challenge.
on MTV.
The former Real World Road Rules Challenge. You know,
No.
not the Real World Warrior Challenge.
Got it.
Animal.
Got
Right.
it.
Real World Animal.
Real world animal. Got it.
But like,
Mm.
I felt like that. You gave me what was the final half hour. It was, you gave me the Big Show with the slow stroll in, and then
What
the main
what
event.
kind of movement are you expecting from No BS Paul White? You want him triple time, like drum
No.
corps international style, getting his ass down the ramp?
No.
As bad as No BS Paul White was, you're trying to tell me Tony Schiavone's child, who's a full fucking grown man, who's training to be a professional wrestler, can be restrained by the littlest guy in the Nightmare faction,
Right, who he's bigger than.
who he is clearly bigger than,
Okay,
and just
first of
stood
all,
there and took a gut punch from QT. And again, Nick grabbing him, I get it. Nick's a big boy, muscles him into the ring. Sure, I get that.
it's this disrespect on Aaron Solo that made
That's Aaron Solo?
yeah.
Huh.
I think that was Aaron Solo.
I mean, that's not a big guy.
No idea who that is.
That was the former Mr. Bailey.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of things falling off a cliff.
That's like Big Dick Devin trying to like hold back one of us to get punched in the gut and then take a diamond cutter.
Kayfabe. I believe in kayfabe. By the way, it wasn't a diamond cutter. What did Jim Ross call
A
QT?
stunner.
A stunner.
A stunner. JR, come on, man.
And
Come
then QT
on.
did do the diamond thing, right? Like he did that too.
There was a whole storyline of QT Marshall asking DDP during the pandemic to teach him the diamond cutter. There was a thing about it.
JR didn't know that. Was that on Being the Elite?
You know he ain't watching that.
I mean, yes, it
He
was
barely watches the show that he's commentating on. And I love JR. This is not.
This
This isn't JR's sour
Here's-
grapes.
But here's the thing.
I golfed timeout. I golfed the other day, and Ryan, your uncle Jason pulled a sassafras root, and all I could think, the whole anyway.
How's he pulling sassafras roots
There
for?
was some along the golf course. It smells like root beer because I guess it's in root beer.
So
Yeah.
I'm not so worried about the fact that Jim Ross didn't watch the Being the Elite or Nightmare Family, whatever garbage of QT Marshall learning the diamond cutter. I'm more concerned with the fact that Jim Ross called about every single Stone Cold Steve Austin match
Stone Cold
that there was in the WWE.
right.
That's fair. Wow.
Fuck, man.
And he in his time, he has now reverted to that being a stunner.
Fuck, man. Like,
I don't care. He's made more. He's made more money doing wrestling than I will make doing anything in my entire life. He has done the job that I wish I could do
100%
better than almost anyone else in the history of this great sport.
Guy. He's the guy.
He is on the
100%.
Mount Rushmore of all-time great commentators, next to Gordon Soley and next to Joey Styles and
Gorilla
next
Monsoon.
to Gorilla can go up there.
For me,
That's
it's
fine.
Gorilla.
That's fine. However, there was a point in time when Gordon Soley didn't do it anymore.
Yep.
To me, now that there is Rampage,
To me,
which,
no.
by the way, Rampage is a 1 hour long television show.
Thank you.
Yesterday.
Here we go with 4 commentators:
Fucking hell.
Excalibur, Taz, the bloated corpse of Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry. 4 guys, 60 minutes of television. To me, move Jim Ross to Rampage and give
those interview segments, man, where you can fucking
you can do the interview segments, but him doing 1 hour's worth of television, Now, granted, the time slot's not perfect for him. You want really grouchy, sleepy Jim Ross
Moscow Mule.
at 10 o'clock.
I need some mules and a nap.
How does this work? You buy a ticket to Rampage for an hour of television. I'm assuming they're filming one of the Darks, correct?
They're probably filming Dark Elevation as well.
And Friday's hour. Okay.
Or are they not filming? Are they filming 2 weeks? Or is every Rampage? No, because next week's live in Chicago. Yeah, so
it's the first dance.
What the fuck?
The first dance.
I seriously thought it was a 2-hour show.
It seems like
it's a 1-hour show.
It says 1 hour. It says 60 minutes when you look it up.
But I know because I did look it up last night because a friend of the show, RJ, tweeted that he
not RJ City, by the way.
No, not RJ City, a different RJ. But he tweeted that he was like, man, I really wish a Rampage was 2 hours. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, it is 2 hours, right? He goes, nope. And I went, well, shut the fuck up. And I Googled it and I was like, nope, it says 60 minutes.
I'll be damned.
I fucking learned that last night.
I'll be doggoned.
Mark. How darned are you, Mark?
I'm pretty darned right now. Pretty darned. Is that right?
I'm pretty darned right
Pretty
now.
darned right now.
Yeah,
at
least he didn't yell Stone Cold.
That's right. That's so true. That's so true.
Give it time.
AEW does so many things right now.
Correct.
That it's really easy to like cherry pick what isn't really clicking or what doesn't quite make sense. Because right now, like I saw, there's a message going around, like a Twitter post. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if we shared it in our house chat or whatnot, but it is every segment of AEW Dynamite featured either main event level talent or wrestling legends intertwined with the company's homegrown stars. Whether you're nonpartisan or pro WWE, you have to admit AEW lays out their shows much better than WWE currently.
See, I actually had that thought last night. And I feel like the WWE would have caught shit if they trotted out Sting as a manager the way that AEW is doing to Darby Allin. People would shit all over the WWE.
So glad you said that before me, because I've had that thought for a while. And I don't get me wrong, I understand Sting is 62 years old.
I get it.
And Sting has only so many bumps left on the bum card. And you don't want to bring him out and wrestle on a weekly basis, nor should he. I don't think he can wrestle every
But
week.
it seems crazy that the icon Sting is painting up his face every day for wrestling and goes out and he's just cheerleader Sting for Darby All-In.
He was a cheerleader on one of the Dark Elevations one of these weeks. I'm like, could you imagine the reaction if WWE had brought Sting out in a managerial role on Main Event?
Here's the difference.
The difference is Darby Allin would be on 205 Live.
Also,
115 Live.
Darby Allin is a borderline main event star who is the closest modern day equivalent to Sting from the 1997 Crow run. Sting makes the most sense being aligned with Darby Allin if he is not by himself. Who in the WWE would Sting have aligned with to be that role? Because it couldn't be Aleister Black, because Aleister Black rolled with the devil. He ain't a loner man, he's with the devil man. And that's different, and Sting don't mess with the devil. Two, Bray Wyatt.
And he is with
Bray Wyatt's devil adjacent.
I mean, Darby Allin ain't the cleanest character.
Look, man, allegedly is allegedly. You know, until until he gets suspended for a month without pay and goes through sensitivity training, everything appears above board for him.
That's fair.
It's
Okay.
2 months for the other guy, isn't it?
Is it 2 months for Max Caster?
I read 2 months for old Rappy Max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
they
got-
did that. They
He
did
got
that
the Sammy. He got the Sammy special, as they like to call it. With
I was
the,
gonna say they
he got
fell
the
off
same thing Sammy Guevara got for
Yeah.
tweeting the stuff about Sasha.
They fell off the tag rankings. His partner wrestled a solo match on one of the darks. He's gone away for a little bit.
Yeah, that's
That's
probably
fine.
smart. That's probably
and
right.
that should happen.
And when
I'm-
he comes back, he's gonna be freestyling again, and he's gonna be the hottest thing. And I can't wait for Max Caster to come back. Max Caster has just as much upside as Darby Allin, has just as much upside as the Jungle Boy. Like,
But to the point about Sting, like I think even if WWE had a character, that it would have made sense for Sting to be that corner man role. I think you bring Sting out on main event, WWE gets shredded for it. To Ryan's point, like
I think you bring Sting out on Raw as a corner man. It's just
right. I mean, like
have some respect. This is Sting. I don't know. I feel like this plays out very different, and I know I sound like Jim here, but
that's why I'm glad you said it. But
Jim,
like,
I'll be on that hill with you.
it's like I've had that thought for a while, and like don't get me wrong, I think like what Sting is doing and like what they're doing with Sting and Darby is great. I'm not shitting on what they're doing with it, but like I think a lot like to some point, and I know we've touched on like this point before, is like just about every Dynamite is laid out the same. You have like a trios match, you have a tag team match, you have definitely only one women's match, and you have some singles matches, and like all but either all of them or all but like one of them has ring apron or outside shenanigans that distract everybody in the ring. Referees have no control. Gang wars somewhere. Shivani gets cut off when he's trying to interview somebody on a promo, and then there's like chaos at the end of the night. They're doing it well. I enjoy Dynamite. It's the show that for the last probably 4 to 6 weeks that I've consistently watched live every week. So this isn't just me being WWE guy Jim. Like that's not what I'm doing here. But like it's there is a repetitive formula. Like everybody talks about how WWE is repetitive, and they are, because we literally see the same matches every week on Raw. But like AEW to a point is repetitive as well, and nobody cares about that.
Mark, what do the fine folks up at Hershey Park think about AEW's repetitiveness?
Well, I was just talking to Mark over there in Games about it, and Ulexi. And Mark is a big fan of the AEW. He doesn't necessarily mind the repetitiveness.
Hmm.
He didn't mind it. Did you
He didn't mind
realize that there's a millipede game in the arcade beside Town Vittles at Hershey Park? There's a millipede game. Remember Millipede?
I thought it was Centipede.
No, there was
There was
Millipede
one
too.
Centipede as well. And then there was Millipede. It's right by Ms. Pac-Man. Now there's two Ms. Pac-Man up there. One goes really fast, and the other one's like normal speed. So you play the fast one, you can get more bonuses and extra lives.
What do I need to mute him? Is
I
he
don't
cool?
think so.
Or is he okay?
Do they have any WWE games up there in Town Vittles?
Yeah, the arcade beside Town Vittles, they do have Wrestling Superstars, I think it is, that tag team one. So you can go on to face Andre the Giant and Ted DiBiase for the championship, which I did. I actually beat him once. And man, it was tough because when Andre gets in there, it's over. He hits you with one move and pins you. That's it. But I got the key is, Smokey, and I'm glad you asked. You got to keep DiBiase in the ring. You get DiBiase in there and you work him down, and then you win the championship. And then I lost the next match when I was defending.
That's what tag team wrestling's about, right? Cut that ring in half.
You got to cut it in half. I learned it from Jesse Ventura. Jesse the Body would always tell you got to cut that ring in half.
Got to cut it in half.
Listen here, Monsoon.
That was actually really good.
That was real good, Jim. I like that a lot.
Thank
You
you.
need to isolate that sound for me.
I
think that's a good sound drop.
All right, let me. Was it 152-ish?
City used to call him Gino.
Yeah, called him by his government name.
Gino.
Gino Morella.
But to Jericho, let's see, Lou here says there's always been a weird vibe with characters that weren't homegrown in WWE. Seeing as a manager on TNT seems right. Yeah, there is that nostalgia feel, the old WCW feel to him.
Yeah,
And I think
they
Lou's right to a degree. Recently, I think we feel that. But I think you go back to like Jericho. I think people look at Jericho and think that's the WWE Jericho, the list, all that other stuff with Jericho. You kind of forget the Lionheart and the
list.
Cruiserweight and the list in WCW of Jericho.
Armbar, yeah.
Right. Eddie Guerrero,
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, great WWE star. Again, really great in ECW, WCW before ever coming. So I think that's something recent that we're seeing, that if you're not a WWE homegrown talent,
Stupid idiot.
it feels a little weird for you.
Sure.
I missed AEW this week. Did you guys catch 90 Day Fiance? I can tell you about that.
Ooh,
Yeah, tell us about that, Mark. What happened?
All right. Well, I'm glad you asked. So you had Andre and Libby came.
So like definitely with Jericho, and who would you have like if what we originally thought, you have to beat out 5 labors. Who would you have picked for the 5th labor? Assuming that Nick Gage stays at 3, Wardlow goes at 4, or excuse me, Nick Gage was 2, Hoovy was 3, Wardlow 4. Who would you guys have picked as the 5th before you get to MJF?
Lance Storm.
Oh shit. I like that a lot.
Jericho's first ever opponent. You keep talking about this book of Jericho where he talks about all of his opponents.
Shit, I like that so much.
You've got Lance Storm, and he has one last match with Jericho, and you can't tell me Lance Storm can't go.
Oh, Lance Storm's
Yeah, I'm
ready
sure
to
he
go.
can still go.
That guy could wrestle circles around Jericho right now. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it. Damn, that's a good one, Tim.
That's so much better than anything I would have said.
Like I was thinking maybe like Chavo, because he's in the picture now with Andrade.
Ooh, Chavo.
Man, yeah, I don't.
Or you could have made it Sammy Guevara. And with the caveat of if Sammy lays down for Jericho,
It's
the
over.
match with MJF is off.
Great
shit,
point.
he
Like
has
that.
to-
Like
or theoretically, or anybody in the inner circle.
he could have went 2v1 versus the Revival, or sorry, the
Jake Hager.
FTR.
Well, except one dude's got a hole in his arm now.
Well, whatever. Put Tully in there.
I like how they keep showing that clip too. Stop,
Yeah,
Teddy
that's
Blanchard.
rough.
like, stop showing me the goddamn hole. Let's just check in on Mark. Mark, how we doing here?
And then I don't know why on earth Chuck would think it'd be a good idea to get Charlie and Andre in the same room.
Oh no.
I have no clue either. But you could do Jake Hager. You could do a handicap match against Pride and Powerful. Either way, have Lou says is Malenko like is he?
Oh, well, I think he
Malenko
has like
Parkinson's.
or something.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, does he really?
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Lou Gehrig, something that's not good.
No, it's Parkinson's.
Is it
He's got-
Parkinson's?
It's Parkinson's. He's got the Michael J. Fox deal.
You got the shaky dudes.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, I didn't know that. Here's one, and would AEW touch it? But like Jericho had a lot of matches against Chris Benoit. Would you bring out Benoit's kid?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
I mean, if they grab another WWE guy coming off of their 90 days, I mean, I don't know when Braun is coming back, but if they're going to grab Braun as a way to introduce another guy, Braun will be a heel over there, I assume. Jericho is face because the fans sing his song. I don't know.
I
Love
guess.
MJF's entrance theme, by the way. I don't know. Is it exactly the same as the Indies? But it's very similar.
Very similar.
Really enjoy his theme.
But like, I mean, again, faces and heels, do they really matter? Jericho used a fucking bat to win the match last night.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So are we feel like we're splitting hairs? But man, I like Lance Storm. I think Lance Storm's the right answer. So we do
Maybe
know,
we get Lance Storm
maybe
next week. Maybe
Well, like-
MJF comes out and he's like, "Let me be serious for a moment.
Right, like,
You're
that would-
clearly not going to wrestle me."
So
And we can watch Tim mark out all over the place.
So, ooh,
There's so much come.
so like, assuming that Tim was right, that it's some sort of, a swerve,
Bro.
something. Like, do we think he faces somebody else? Devin has a good question. He goes, "What about Daniel Bryan as one of the competitors?" See, I still think they're holding on to Daniel Bryan for the show in New York, assuming that COVID pending, we still get to that show in New York. Yeah.
New York's buckling up too a little bit, right? They're doing the maskies inside. Is that?
I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of places, but yeah, New York, it's masks indoors, sort of thing. But like the Winnipeg Jets, of the NHL, the New Orleans Saints, the NFL, proof of vaccination or negative COVID test within 72 hours of entrance to the buildings for these things. We're gonna start seeing that everywhere.
Speaking of sports, how absolutely awesome is this Red Sox Yankees game tonight?
White Sox, yeah, dude.
Or, I'm sorry, White Sox Yankees game. Yeah,
with players like when Costner coming out of the cornfield, the players
that
coming
is
out of the
unreal.
cornfield. Dude, I had fucking chills, man. It is
Chill
it
inducing.
is so good. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do one of these every year. Now I don't
You think
see
this is going to be a regular thing?
Is this still on?
I think
It's on Fox, except in Lancaster, where Fox 43 is running the Eagles game.
Yeah,
And people that only get 43 are quite pissed that they're missing this.
you have to go to Fox 29 out of Philly if you have it.
Yeah, the other
If
channel.
you have DirecTV or Dish in Lancaster, PA, you're shit out of luck on this one.
Yeah, you are, unfortunately.
Actually, no. If
You
you're
can switch
listening,
over to
but
Rabbit Ears.
if you go to like the Fox Sports app, I think you should, with your cable login, you should be able to pull it up. Mark,
okay.
How you doing, Mark?
So I really think Paula Mayfield would make a great guest for the show.
You know what? I think
Mark, you got to reach out.
maybe we can work on that. We will discuss it. But you made a ton of great points, Mark. I can't believe just so spot on.
Now, Mark, I know you're not
I'm
a
exhausted.
huge sports guy, but while you were going on about the 90 Day Fiance, we were talking about the Field of Dreams baseball game that's happening right now.
Sure.
Have you seen the movie Field of Dreams?
I remember buying it on VHS at McDonald's.
They did have it on VHS at McDonald's.
Right.
That I think
I remember
Ghost.
it. Yeah, they Ghost. What else do they have? Mr.
Backdraft.
Holland's Opus.
I will always
Yeah,
say
they
this
have
about
Backdraft.
Field of Dreams. Like if you cared about like sports at all, and if you can watch the scene when Kevin Costner gets to have the catch with his dad, if you can watch that scene and not get choked up or tear up or cry, you have no soul. Like thinking about that scene, I almost get choked up.
That's awesome. It's a
Like,
great scene.
It's such a good fucking scene of a movie. Like the payoff of that movie to where he gets to have a catch with his old man. Damn, it's that fucking good, man. It is so good. Any other thoughts?
Now, were you guys saying you're having problems? Were you having problems watching a game on TV locally?
Nope,
this-
nothing. Nope. Everything's
Nope,
great.
no, this is the
No, everything's fine.
everything's fine, totally fine. It works just. Oh no, Mark, you're gonna get us. You're gonna get us shadow banned, man. You throwing that remote up there. That is dangerous. How is that thing legal to sell in stores?
It's like the dark web. It's like the dark web of television. I don't.
It really is. It
Look,
really is.
it broke his internet.
Say yeah, froze up. Any other thoughts on anything before we close up tonight here, boys?
No, AEW number was down. But it hit on that again, right, Jim?
Yeah. Good. You say you got my PayPal is what you're telling me.
I did.